Hello and welcome to a special edition of Free Minds TV. I'm Dale Manning.
And I'm Toby Islin.
Like we told you before, we are broadcasting right now from Porcupine Freedom Festival in Guilford, New Hampshire at the Gunstock Mountain Resort.
You know, we talked about how we're going to be up here and being a Porcupine Freedom Festival and giving a live special and just talking to the people who are up here, talking about why they've made the move, why they're here, why they care about freedom, and why New Hampshire was chosen as the free state.
And beyond that, I mean, the people that you're going to see tonight are just absolutely incredible people. These people have left their livelihood from where they've been before, left their friends and their families in some cases to come up here in the search for more individual liberty and more individual freedoms since New Hampshire has been chosen as the free state.
That's right. We've talked time after time about how New Hampshire has that live free or die spirit in it, and these people really have that spirit too. They want to come here. They're not all necessarily coming from the same point of view or anything, but they all want one thing, and that's more freedom for not only themselves, but also for you. They want to make everyone free. They want just as much freedom for themselves as they want for their neighbors, and it's really great to have them here. They're one of the main reasons that we're still as free as we are. With their help, we've stopped the seatbelt ban. We've to make it mandatory to buckle up. We're stopping Real ID here, and if it wasn't for their help, then the government in New Hampshire would be continuing to grow. But with the movers that we've already had up here, we're seeing the government stall, and we're pushing back the tidal wave of bigger and bigger government like we're seeing all across the country. New Hampshire is already one of the freest states, and with the help of the people and the people moving into this state, we're going to keep it the freest state, keep the government small, and keep liberties high.
You know, there's a reason why New Hampshire is called the live free or die state, and we're going to prove that right here tonight. Our first guest that we're going to have on is Lydia.
Hello, I'm Lydia Harmon.
Hi, Lydia. Would you mind telling us what you're doing here at the Porcupine Freedom Festival?
Yes, I'm an unusual entity here at the Porcupine Freedom Festival because I am a New Hampshireite, so I didn't have to move here.
So you are a native, just like us.
Actually a native.
Excellent.
Yes. So instead of picking up and moving my family, I'm actually here in Concord, New Hampshire, and I am a realtor. And the reason I first came on to know about the FSP is because a friend of mine, Irina Goddard, was in Toastmasters with me. And I would highly encourage everyone to look into an international Toastmasters speech. It's an international speech. Of course, it doesn't help me right now, right? It's organization, and it's highly effective in helping you once you get here to communicate your views and to really, as they say, stem the tide against really what's happening here in New Hampshire. And I've got to say that I don't like to see the changes in my state that I'm seeing right now with a lot of people pushing for more government in the legislature, and I am really encouraged by this movement and hope very much that I can help many, many people come to New Hampshire and increase the population in a very positive way to push back the government and really continue to have a live free or die state.
Excellent. Now, people often do outreach in all different ways, pull back the government in many different ways. Some people do protests. Some people will call their senators or their representatives. Other people will write letters to the editor. We do a TV show here. What is it that you like to do? What makes you passionate about freedom?
Well, I have been spending quite a bit of time at the State House, and I have found that has been very helpful. I also am quite active in pulling people together to appear at the State House and have rallies against the various bills that are coming up in the State House. And specifically, things that are important to me are having families be able to have their a bit of solidarity and actually be families and not have the state require us to do things that we don't want our families to be a part of. So that's really important to me. I have 4 children and my husband here in New Hampshire, and we are a very close-knit family, and we prefer to teach our children what we want to teach them, not just what the state wants to shove down our throats.
Which is something that we've talked about on the show before about the difference between a government education and a more private and individualized education is that parents do have the most vested interest in their children's education. The state does not. We've talked about on prior episodes about how the government will lower the IQ standards for the police. They want the police to just be average. They don't want anybody extra stellar. I don't see why they wouldn't even try to do that in the schools, being a product of the government schooling. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I know that it's killed my creativity, and I wish that my parents had taken that time to actually go and do an individualized education. So it's really awesome that you're trying to pull that together for your children.
Well, there are lots of choices here in New Hampshire. We have a tremendous homeschool network here in New Hampshire. There, I believe, are over 5,000 homeschoolers in New Hampshire, and that number grows every year by leaps and bounds. And my kids are a part of a 250 family co-op, homeschool co-op, which is just amazing. I mean, the friendships they have with those, with the other homeschoolers, and the quality of relationships and education is unbelievable. We also do participate part-time with the government education, but I pretty much keep that to 3 days a week. So there's enough of the offset with homeschool education that my kids are great thinkers for themselves. In fact, I bring my kids to the State House. One of my daughters is a very good public speaker, and she's 18, and she has spoken at the public hearings with me and has captivated an audience of 400 people with her being young and yet being able to articulate her views and being passionate about it. So she's definitely thinking for herself, which is fantastic. I love it.
It's good to hear.
Yeah. And I did want to just tell you that I was recently recruited, in fact today, recruited to the FSP New Hampshire Info real estate and community coordinator. So anyone
just
who needs
everybody
help.
else out there, the FSP is the Free State Project. Porcupine Freedom Festival
The
is
ones
put
that are
on by
putting this on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Part of the. So what do you do with this new position that you've just acquired?
Well, it's so new that I'm not quite sure, but actually I think it's mostly what I have been doing, and that is simply to educate people who want to move here about their options, and there are so many wonderful options. I had the opportunity to be at the February Liberty Forum, and I spoke about finding jobs in New Hampshire as well as business development in New Hampshire and real estate. So I am really going to encourage people and help them in whatever way possible to connect them with the communities and to really encourage them. Once you get here, and the people who have already come are proving, to really be active in your communities and start to get a feel for what part you want to play, because there are so many wonderful opportunities and roles.
Yeah, what we've seen that's awesome about the Free State Project is it might be scary to come from a different part of the country or even a different part of the world and move to this small state, New Hampshire, without knowing everyone, leaving your previous life and your family behind. But you're not alone, because when you get here, there's people to help you on move. There's networks to plug into. Whatever you want to do, whether it's underground, out in the media, there's networks out there that you can plug into and help out. Become active with the people around you. Find real estate, find homes, find jobs. There's people here that are willing to help you set up and want to help you set up, because it's part of what the Free State Project is all about.
And as you can see, it's not just people that move here that are motivated about keeping New Hampshire free. As you can see, there's 3 New Hampshire natives here that recognize that we love our state, we love what it stands for, we know what Live Free or Die is, we've grown up with it our lives, and for other people to move in here and try to change the government, I notice a lot of people from Massachusetts or Connecticut move up here, and they love New Hampshire for some reason. They just love the beauty here, and it's not just the mountains and the scenery, which is absolutely gorgeous, but there's something about the people, the sense of community when you come here. There's such friendly people here. Everybody really is just willing to help you out if you just ask.
Definitely. And I guess what I thought you were getting to is the people who move in sometimes want to change us to be like the states that they came from. And we really don't encourage that. Because there are enough of those states around. You can certainly move back to them. But we really do encourage live free or die attitude, the idea that people come here for bike weekend, and yes, they don't have to wear helmets, and it's their choice. Some people choose to, some people don't, but they don't have to, and they cross over the border from Massachusetts into New Hampshire. They pull over, they take their helmets off, and they go, this is live free or die. And that's going to need that what that is an opportunity for us to have our own voice as to what we want to do with ourselves, with our families, with our communities. And that voice needs to be that much stronger right now, because currently the State House, the people in the State House are not that voice. They, as of November, there were, with the straight tickets, balloting, which has now, I guess, been changed in law, but we had a pretty strong run of Democrats who took over the House, the Senate, and of course the governor. And it's just really, really changing our state to some extent. But of course, with the Free Staters who have shown up, we've been able to stem the tide to a large extent. So just keep coming as quickly as you can. And we realize that may be 2 months or away, that may be 6 months away, that could be a year or 2 years away. But please know that this is an awesome state to live in, and we are really glad to welcome you. So we appreciate you all coming.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, that was Lydia Harmon over here talking to us about her experience coming up, living in New Hampshire, and seeing how it's been changing. Thank you so much, Lydia. I don't know if you have anything else you'd like to talk about.
I think I've said enough, but I really encourage people to come as soon as they possibly can to be a part of this whole project. It's awesome.
And even people don't even have to move here to be part of this. If you're watching this and you're in the Cheshire TV broadcasting range, you're not watching this on YouTube, you know deep down inside there's something you want to do. Go ahead, be vocal about it, get organized. Just being one voice out there, you're not going to be heard. If everybody gets together and they yell really loud, I mean, we can really make a change here in the state. And that's what the Free State Project's all about, taking people that are like-minded, where the majority of them, I think, are already here in New Hampshire. I mean, this is the live free or die state. And just getting everybody here and just getting everybody, revved up, change the government. The government's here for us to take care of, not to be taken care of by. So.
Yes.
I think that's the message right there.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Well,
I'm sure
thank you.
You're going to get back to the festivities that are happening all around us, having a great night here. But it was great to have you on, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you in the future.
Yes. Well, thank you for having Free Minds TV so people can see this.
Thank you, Lydia.
Take care.
All right, we're going to be having some more guests on here in a couple minutes. But just to get back to what Porcupine Freedom Festival is, this is an annual event that's been happening in New Hampshire where Free Staters and people who are interested, friends of the Free State, or people who just want to see what it's all about, come here and gather and have a good time. There's been seminars going on all day, tables where people can get information, see how to get active, what kind of activism is needed. There's all sorts of things to do here. There's been hiking trips, people going scuba diving.
Scuba diving trips. Unfortunately, I am a certified scuba diver. I wasn't able to make it up here during the weekdays. I would have loved it. I would have loved to make those connections for scuba diving, just in general, trying to find a dive buddy. Pretty much, this festival offers everything. I mean, being up here in New Hampshire, I mean, you can go fishing, you can go kayaking, boating. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, New Hampshire really does have it all for the outdoors. And being here, at Gunstock Resort in Guilford, New Hampshire, it really is. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place to be.
Yeah, and not only is it a beautiful place, but the people around you really understand what they really understand what freedom's all about, and you can talk to them about anything. They're not going to make some kind of a judgment on you because you think some crazy radical belief that something like the war on drugs is a crazy thing to keep on fighting, because you think that small government is a good thing for us. So it's great to be around the people here, great to be talking to people, and the environment that we're in it's just great.
Well, having so many like-minded people around here, being able to just go up and say, Ron Paul? Oh, you know who Ron Paul is? Awesome! I mean, when we first pulled in, we saw the Ron Paul revolution, and as our viewers know, we constantly try to push Ron Paul, as he is the presidential candidate for New Hampshire and for the country. If we're going to change the way things are going right now, that's who we need to get elected. So hopefully everybody can do their best to go out there, push Ron Paul, as it's been being pushed up here at the Porcupine Freedom Festival.
But we have more guests here that we want to talk to, hear their story, see what's going on with them, what brought them here, and we have another one here. Who are you? Introduce yourself. Why are you here?
Hi.
What's this all about?
My name's Walter Reddy. I'm from Connecticut. I hope to be moving up here in the next couple of months.
Awesome.
One of the things I feel passionate about, I mean, I love this getting together with other like-minded liberty political activists. That's what really draws me to this.
Yep.
Well, how much of that do you get in Connecticut?
Well, less and less. That's why I'm moving here.
That's because everybody is already moving up here, though, Walter.
What we've done just recently, the group that I'm involved in now, we've started. It's called New Hampshire Citizens Homeland Security Association.
And so, what's the goal of that group, Walter?
Well, we're going to revitalize the Second Amendment, the constitutional state militia.
Because what we have right now, New Hampshire has some of the better gun laws. They're not perfect, but they're better. We do have an open carry. You can open carry a weapon here, wherever you are. You don't need a license for it at all, which is it's a really big first step. I mean, a lot of people get weirded out when they see a gun on your hip, but there's no reason why they should, because
this is something a little different. It's not. It's the first half of the Second Amendment.
Okay.
And New Hampshire also has in Article 24. It's just concerned with the militia, but it hasn't been anywhere in the country. It hasn't been functional in over 100 years, a constitutional state militia. So we want to revitalize it. And the thing about it right now, we've got one of the problems is this separation of the people, like this us versus them, with the law enforcement and the people. Mm-hmm. And we've got this mentality, and it's getting worse and worse, like police state.
Yeah.
So what we've proposed, and this is what we've got some state legislators that are behind this up here, but we need the people behind it. We want to build a coalition right now. What we're doing is we want to put some legislation together. What we want to do is open up these basic training for the police, firefighters, emergency medical, all these first responders to the public. So we're joint. The people have access and can be trained with the police and have the same legal authority as the police, fire, and emergency medical. And that's what would unite us as a community
away that
and a
us
state.
versus them mentality that we see.
That's what the militia used to be for 250 years. 150 years before the American Revolution and 100 years after. That it was always a way of life, and it hasn't been in effect or really functional in 100 years now, but that's what our goal is. And
excellent. So even though you're not here yet in New Hampshire, you haven't moved yet, you're still able to work for freedom.
Yeah, we've got our first meeting. It's going to be July 1st in Concord at the steakhouse there at the Holiday Inn.
Okay.
At 7 o'clock. And we've got to set up a meetup group. It's on meetup.com.
So if people want to find that, what would they search for?
Meetup.com, and it's New Hampshire Citizens Homeland Security Association. We'd like to see the Department of Homeland Security abolished, but it's really a grassroots. It's the people.
Excellent.
So,
awesome. Anything else on your mind that you wanted to share with people?
No, I'm just loving this gathering of other liberty-minded people up here, and it's great. And I hope you got a shot of that. The Ron Paul, it's like a normal.
It's great. Everyone knows who Ron Paul is.
Yeah,
well, thank you so much for coming on Free Minds TV. We really appreciate it.
All right,
thank you, Walter.
Enjoy the festivities. All right, well, that was Walter, just another person here who's not only enjoying the mindset, but he's working towards creating more freedom. His main thing is to get rid of the police state, the us versus them mentality, and I guess give everyone the same authority.
You know, he's one of hundreds of people that have showed up here that has their own little individual niche on what they want to do, what the special part of freedom and liberty that they want to promote. And that's the beauty part of this movement here, is because there's so many different liberties and freedoms that each individual wants to to have. And if we all work together, but in separate little groups, and we go after those, it's going to make New Hampshire a better place, and hopefully it can be a beacon for the rest of the country. To let's get our act together and let's start living like we're meant to be living.
Right, and one of those basic rights that we talked about just a few minutes ago, the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms and carry a weapon, something that a lot of people shun away from for some reason. They're scared of it, but there's nothing to be afraid of a responsible person with a gun, and that's something that a lot of Free Staters understand and realize. They realize and understand the Second Amendment, and that's something that our next guest is I think, going to be talking about a little bit. But who are you? What do you do? Why are you here?
Well, my name is Rich Angel, and I've just moved from Montana. I just arrived on Sunday, and so here I am.
Awesome. So you just moved here a week ago.
I just got here.
So what was it that finally drove you to the point of moving here?
Well, there was. I can't think of any one
culmination.
thing. Yeah. Actually, it feels like my entire life has been preparing for this moment.
Excellent.
That's what it all comes down to.
Well, I like your sweatshirt there, the gun owners
Well, as a
of New
matter of
Hampshire.
fact, I just bought this.
You just got that?
I just
Awesome.
bought it about 5 minutes ago, and I paid for it with Liberty Dollars.
Liberty Dollars. Now,
That's right.
We've talked about Liberty Dollars before, real metal-backed currency, something that your dollar bills in your wallet
Something
probably
the federal
are very far
government
away
doesn't
from.
want to do. So
this is how would you describe the Liberty Dollar for people who don't know?
I would describe it as a silver-based currency that is inflation-proof.
Because there's real value behind it. The
That's
Federal
right.
Reserve notes that most people have in their wallets have no backing at all.
That's right. Now, as a matter of fact, the Liberty Dollars that I have now, I actually paid for back when they were $10 1-ounce pieces.
Right.
It was a $10 base silver-based currency, and I ordered a bunch and watched my money double overnight as they made the switch to the $20 base.
Yep.
And so that's what we mean by inflation-proof currency.
yeah.
Right.
Because you didn't actually make any money. You just preserved the value of the money that you had spent with your Federal Reserve notes. As the federal government keeps going out and printing more and more money from the Federal Reserve, they have their printing press. They print. They don't care. War in Iraq, print. They don't care. But with the Liberty Dollar, there's only so much silver, and there's only so much silver that you can store. So it's going to hold that value. And if the Federal Reserve prints 3 times the amount of value here, well, then you're going to have 3 times the amount of value for your Liberty Dollar. So it's a great way for people if you want to, try to stop the government in their tracks, try to slow them down at least a little bit,
Hold on to the value of your dollar.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's a great alternative. We've talked about before, since 1916, the value of the dollar has dropped by something like 96%. So this is something that if you had Liberty Dollars at that time, you'd still have as much money if you have any kind of metal-backed currency or any backed currency.
Oh, what do you know?
We actually have a Liberty Dollar coming in right now, nice and shiny silver, $20 piece.
And this is something that has some weight to it. This is an awesome coin. When you get a $20 bill in your hand and it's just a piece of paper, it
feels
means
like a
nothing.
one.
But when you get this in your hand and you look at it, it's a really beautiful piece of artwork here. It's and it's real money. It's something that you can actually hold on to and it keeps its value. So
I'll take it over to the other camera and get a shot of it.
excellent, sure.
All right.
So it's just one of the things that is really going on here in the Free State is the use of Liberty Dollars, because you can't use these anywhere. They're not. Some people don't know what they are yet, so you can't just go to anywhere and use them. But you can use them with Free Staters. Almost every Free Stater or people who know what it means and know that it has value, you can use them with, and it's just another great thing about being here.
Right. You asked me why I came here. Actually, a better question would be what took me so long. And what took me so long, I was actually planning on coming here 2 years ago. What delayed me was I went back to Missoula, Montana, where I was living before, and I got involved in community access television.
Awesome.
And I put on this show for 2 years, and I covered all kinds of subjects like the Liberty Dollar. I interviewed Bernard von Nothaus, for example, the creator of the Liberty Dollar. And I've interviewed people like a Waco survivor, Oklahoma City bombing survivor, and state legislator Michael Badnarik,
Excellent.
presidential candidate, and so on. and I did a 2-hour show on the Free State Project.
Oh, just like we're doing here today.
Yeah, the name of the show, by the way, is Sovereign Solutions, and if you do a Google video search for that, Sovereign Solutions, you'll find it.
Excellent.
Awesome. And from what I've heard from the other Free State Project members that have come up here, Rich, you're very talented. I heard your TV show is absolutely tremendous, and I look forward to looking. I'm going to be looking it up online as well. Look over, and we're glad to have you move up here to New Hampshire.
Well, good. And I am here, but I don't yet have a place to stay. Or actually, this week looks like I've got a plan, but beyond that, I'm just winging it, which of course is appropriate for a guy with a name like Angel. But anyway, if you need help,
well,
there's
always stuff to do with it. We're in Keene, New Hampshire, broadcasting, so that would be great. I'm sure that you'll find places to stay with all the people around us here. There's people who are going to help you out. How's that been for you, as someone who moved here not really knowing people? How's it been for you to make that initial trip?
Well, actually, I came here last year when they had the PorcFest at Lancaster. I came on a reconnaissance basis, and I basically combined that with a trip all around the country, did some interviews for my show, visited friends, and so on. And what impressed me was being in a place where I'd never been before and yet feeling so welcome and hearing constantly, "What are you waiting for? We need you. Get over here where the action is."
Yeah.
And then, of course, I did the documentary on it, and that only reinforced that. And so I was just chomping at the bit the whole time. I just wanted to finish up that show and tie up loose ends and like that, and then I finally made that move.
Excellent. Well, we're really happy to have you here. More reinforcements to stem back the ever-growing tide of government. But hopefully with activists such as yourself and the other people around us, it is possible to keep the government small and even roll it back and get more freedom and more liberty out of it.
That's the idea.
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to say before you get back to the festivities behind us?
Live free or die.
Awesome.
That's awesome, Rich.
Well,
thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for coming on Free Minds TV, and enjoy the rest of PorcFest.
Well, thank you.
All right.
You know, it's really great that we have more and more people moving up here, more and more people who are willing to do what it takes to get active, do the dirty work. It's not always easy being here and getting active and making the move. I mean, that's amazing. Moving across the country to a place that you're leaving your life behind, but you're doing it in the name of freedom, in the name of not only your freedom, but everyone else's.
It's so true. It takes some courage, to give up your past life, I guess, and come over here to New Hampshire. But like we said before, tons of people here, tons of friendly faces, always willing to lend a hand. All you have to do is ask, and sometimes you don't even have to ask. They'll just show up out of nowhere and start helping you out. So.
Well, we do have more people that we want to interview, get more stories here. We have another person. Great. Who are you? And what are you doing here? What brought you here?
Well, my name is Christopher Gronsky. I live in Wolfboro, New Hampshire, which is on the other side of the lake.
Yeah.
I've been in New Hampshire since 1987, and I was part of voting for New Hampshire being the chosen state in the United States.
One of the original Free State Project members.
Just loving to have freedom-minded people in the state. I think that's an awesome thing. I believe that the best thing we can do for our country is to secure New Hampshire and to give them a good example on what freedom looks like and what self-government.
Be that beacon of liberty and really show people. You think end the drug war. Oh, you're crazy. There's going to be all sorts of fiends out there. But if you go through it, you think about it. And we can be an example to show how it will work. And if it works, all it's going to do is set the tone for the rest of the country. Hopefully, you're absolutely right.
Absolutely. And right now, I'm working on with another gentleman, Greg Michael, and we're producing a radio show, a regular radio broadcast called Destination Freedom. We're going to broadcast that out of Laconia. It actually covers this area here as well, this side of the lake, all the way over to like I-93, the county of Belknap.
Yep.
And one of the things that we're working on in New Hampshire is there's two things that are really important to us. One is freedom fellowships in every county, and really ultimately every community. But to have a group of people, patriots and freedom-minded people in every county, hanging with each other, getting to know each other, family, children, and all that sort of thing. We want to create that kind of environment, community
yeah.
throughout New Hampshire, and a lot of festivals. Not maybe the Porcupine Festival is an awesome event every year. And the other thing that we wanted to help facilitate in New Hampshire is the New Hampshire Freedom Media Network, in which different we think there's three. We think of three different types of mediums: radio, television, and newsprint.
Yep.
And we think that there's a number of different freelancing television and radio, and to be able to have them come together and talk about how they can offer the public freedom news and freedom information, and be able to offer something to New Hampshire residents better than the regular media.
And
I'd completely agree.
I would say, if you really do launch this and you get it going, which I have no doubt that you will, I hope to be part of it, actually. I'd love to add Free Minds TV right aboard
Absolutely.
that. Is that, we accept live call-ins on our TV show, and most of the time, we have people call in and they say, you guys are right on. We want smaller government. We don't want all of this, big brother bashing us down and telling us how to live our lives.
Right.
And that message is really, really heard here in New Hampshire by, like I said before, not just the people that move here, but the people that actually have lived here for their whole lives. They know that something's missing, and if you give them that little shed of light, you tell them, this is what you can do to help, they will do it. So
We'd like to see a demographic of young people. I think, like yourself, I don't know, I'm young too, But but younger than me, a group of people coming out of the schools, we homeschool our kids, and but that age of before kids become adults, and I think that they would love freedom, and if it's presented to them, and I think that we have, and you guys have an awesome. Program or product to offer to the public, and I think that's awesome.
So what you're trying to do is basically get all these groups together and under. What exactly?
I'm thinking of just simply if there was just a simple website that would just say, here's television, here's radio, or the audio medium, and here's newsprint or just any type of website that's giving data,
right.
And just say and so that people instead of dealing with this media bias, it would be this Freedom Media Network, and I'm thinking for New Hampshire, but this could be any in every state, any state. But the idea is just to have us work together in this medium, alternative news in that way.
And we already see a lot of these news agencies, TV shows, radio shows popping up. I hadn't even heard of yours yet, but that's excellent.
And I think there's a trend, because as long as there's a media bias, as long as the government is controlling what people get, then this kind of freedom is gonna pop.
Right. There's also Free Talk Live moved in from Florida. They're actually broadcasting live as we're recording this, so not going to be able to interview them, but they're already here. That's one source. There's the Keene Free Press with Russell and Kat Canning, who are here. Right. They do an excellent newspaper that's really an alternative to what you'd read. There's Free Minds TV. There's just
and that's just in Keene. I mean, we're talking about one city, Keene, New Hampshire. We have, like you said, the three different media.
Right.
We have a print, we have a news, a radio show, and because of us coming on with the local access channel that got launched, producing our own show here, now we have another medium to reach these people, because it's not fair that the government gets all these mediums and we don't. So we need to utilize them. We really do, and organize them.
That's right. And I think that could be like that in every county, and ultimately, there's usually a larger city in every county, and be able to serve the public, because there's information about legislation. There's candidates that need to run. There's tyranny that's encroaching on our lives every day, and this kind of a broadcast and others are going to be able to inform the public of this tyranny.
What we've heard is a lot of people have almost given up hope. They see so much of the message that they just don't agree with being broadcast out there. But I think that once they hear the message that other people are agreeing with them, that they like freedom and liberty, they take it and run with it, and
look
they get
how excited you guys are.
Exactly.
I mean, this is awesome. I mean, I think that people should get excited. I mean, all you have to do look and read history and see that it's never been the masses that secure liberty and freedom. It's always been the committed few that are, or like they say, the few that are setting brush fires of liberty and freedom in the hearts and minds of people, and that's what we're committed to.
You know, people have said before, that coming up here, being part of the Free State Project, that we're just, a vocal minority, and but that's what it's going to take. Is a vocal minority.
That's exactly.
I don't look at that as a negative thing. I look
Wear
at
that
it
like
as
a
positive.
badge.
What was that?
Wear that like a badge.
Exactly.
Vocal minority. I love it.
But because it's the minority.
Have you guys had any hecklers yet?
There's one guy who's in charge of some media. Russell Canning.
Russell Canning.
Let's go. That's awesome.
King Free Press.
Let's go.
Another
the show
vocal
a little
minority,
bit.
but he's someone who gets that message out to a lot of different people. I think there's thousands of his newspapers that he prints on a monthly basis now get out to a lot of different people. If you want to add content to it, you just send him a letter. He'll print it right up there, and it's really great to have print, television, and radio media all getting together and doing this.
Well, I'm thinking in the fall that we would we'd have a get together on some Saturday or some weekend or something where we can do a morning eat a meal together in the afternoon and be able to talk about how we can pull resources or whatever, because I believe there's plenty of money because look, if we're providing a service to the public and it's helping them, there's no reason that isn't profitable for any group.
Exactly.
Because the more that the public wants the truth, then people are going to, advertisers are going to want to be able to give to these outlets. Besides the fact that it promotes liberty and freedom.
The beauty is since it is such a valuable product to the community, if the community invests in it, all they're going to see is more return. They're not only going to see more of the programming, but I don't think there's anybody here that would take that money and pocket it without first reinvesting it into what you're doing and try to reach more people, try to get better equipment, try to get more venues, coming to more Porcupine Freedom Festivals. Hopefully next year there'll be 3 or 4 television shows doing a show, and maybe we can all get together and have a big get together for freedom on TV. I just see this as a real positive thing. It's been a great experience for myself coming up here to Porcupine Freedom Festival. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it last year. And just the people that I've been meeting, such as you, Christopher, with your Destination Freedom. That's
great networking. I mean, you come up here, and a lot of people, especially if they're not New Hampshire natives, but even New Hampshire natives, you come up here and you can network with all sorts of other people who are crazy about freedom.
It's like family.
Freedom. Exactly.
And that is what's cool. And what I'm looking forward to is more families, husbands and wives and children being able to, so our children can grow up and play together, and that freedom will be just a natural thing
really
for them.
Foster that mentality of live free or die. Don't tell me how to run my life. It's my life. I wake up with myself every morning, and I can make the best decisions for myself. And if I can't, well, then I should go find somebody else to, my own leader. But I don't want anybody else imposing their will on me.
Are you married?
I am not married.
Well, that'll have a new flavor when you choose well, my son. Because I'm sure that'll be a good governing thing. That'll be pick a spouse that'll
but I'll be
that'll be for liberty and freedom.
myself to that, so
that's right.
I can deal with that.
It'll be okay. It'll be freer. It'll be awesome. So. Hey, well, thanks for having me on.
Once we do get this together, we will be talking about it on
sure
Three Minds TV so that the viewers can get involved if they want to as well. And
fantastic.
Find the other media that's available here. So thank you so much for coming on and
Thanks
enjoy the rest of
Do you have a website? www.destinationfreedom.org?
Yeah.
All right. So
DestinationFreedom.org.
Check it out. Another place for media. DestinationFreedom.org.
Thanks. Hey,
enjoy the rest of the festival.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
It's so great seeing all these different types of media coming together and really networking here and getting to know one of each other and become stronger.
It's so true. I mean, that's really what the Porcupine Freedom Festival is supposed to do. It's supposed to, bring all these people, really celebrate the liberties that we have now, and really try to encourage a way to really bring them around so that our children and our children's children can still enjoy those liberties and even more. Because that's what the whole point of this project is to make sure that individuals can make the decisions for themselves.
More people that are getting involved, we want to talk to them, give you as many perspectives here at the Free State Project Porcupine Freedom Festival as possible. The next guest we have is Evan.
Hi there.
Evan, what's your story? Where are you from?
Well, I'm proud to say I served as Vice President of the Free State Project.
Excellent.
And I moved to New Hampshire with my family 2 years ago, and we love it. We left New Jersey, which was a no-brainer to leave New Jersey. Yeah, I'm an attorney, and I have a unique practice. Area I work in is firearm and weapons law, and in New Jersey, the gun laws are out of control, and I defend their what I call law-abiding criminals, because in New Jersey, even a slingshot is a felony to possess.
Wow.
So, oh yeah, it's insane. So I could not have my kids. I have 3 kids grow up in that environment. It's just so anti-freedom, liberty. The political correctness makes you sick.
Yeah.
And so coming here, the finest thing, without a doubt, is for the kids. It was the best quality of life move that a person can make, which is the best reason to move.
That's so true.
Right, some folks will say, well, what about jobs? I mean, there are plenty of jobs here, but what about economics? But you know what? It's not really the reason you should move. You should move for your life and changing it and have that quality. And that's what New Hampshire offers, wonderful quality of life.
I think what you're trying to say, Evan, just to reword it, is that, it doesn't matter how much money you have if you don't have your own liberties and your own freedoms. It doesn't matter how big your house is,
right,
or what how much you earn every year. It's just irrelevant, because you're not living to your full potential of being yourself. And as a human being, that's what your goal is.
What we call is golden chains. You're chained by gold to where you're working, but those golden chains keep you a slave and keep you unfree in those other areas. And breaking those golden chains is a wonderful empowerment for yourself. And now I know that my children are growing up here, coming to the PorcFest with other freedom kids, understanding it, living it, and they're the future. And they're going to be there understanding liberty and having left their friends for liberty and made new friends that are even better. And that's the key. And this state is wonderful, and there's many other advantages. Not only the super in terms of low taxes and having no sales tax and no state income tax and no mandatory auto insurance. And
all of things that the Democrats that have been elected into office are now trying to change, which is why we need as many people to move up here and be a vocal minority.
Although even I have to say that I take a New Hampshire Democrat over any New Jersey Republican, because even the Jersey Republicans are authoritarian.
Well,
and
it's not to say that the Republicans are better. They certainly want to grow the government too.
Exactly.
It's just what we've had a lot is a base of Republicans that are real conservatives here in New Hampshire that wanted to keep the government small.
Right.
And now that we have this blue tidal wave of Democrats coming through, they think it's their chance to grow the government. And we need people like you coming in here to stop that.
The joke is, I think the joke went, if the Democrats proposed a Holocaust, the Republicans would vigorously fight it, then phase it in over 5 years. So that's a problem. But here, you have an insurance policy in the way the government itself is formed, because we have the 400 legislators, which creates, we're the third largest legislative body in the world, English speaking. And what makes that so wonderful is the constituency rate is so low a ratio to so that even if a representative wants to be stupid, he knows that with maybe 3,000 constituents that control whether he's elected or she is elected or not, you can exert that kind of influence, as compared to New Jersey, where it's a machine that is in control, and with such a wide. I think they say if the federal government was to have the same representation ratio as the state, we'd have to have 90,000 legislators in Washington to have the same ratio as New Hampshire to its citizens. So that's quite an empowerment for the citizen here.
It's great. You can call up your representative and talk to them on the phone. You can even walk over their house and knock on their door and have a conversation with you, and they'll talk to you, because here they, for the most part, care about what you have to say before just passing laws against you. For the most part. It's not true of all of them.
I've ran into a couple that were the contrary, but for the most part.
You can at least talk to them, and they know that what you think does have sway over whether they're going to get reelected.
See, we were early in the free states, so we were one of the voters when there were 10 states, 10 candidate states, and we voted, and we would move to whatever state was chosen. My wife and I, we said, whatever state it is, that's what we're going to do.
Wow.
And we're so happy that New Hampshire was picked, but we never appreciated New Hampshire until that vote. And it really was the Free State Project that showed all the benefits of the great state of New Hampshire to those that care about liberty and freedom.
Yep.
To me, this is the last holdout, at least in the Northeast, for any kind of freedom and any hope of maintaining it.
To where we
It
have
really
to hopefully make this state as free as possible and make it a
Absolutely.
shining beacon of liberty for anyone who cares about freedom to get over here and help us out.
Well, that's the thing, too. The Free State participants are activists. So it's more than just coming here and being a voter, but we're all vocal and activists and concerned with issues and want to
Trying to change
tell
things
the
for
word
the better.
right. And so activists can have more of an impact. And by getting the people that care about it and come here and want to talk about it, makes a huge difference, I think, in the power that we can exert to maintain it.
Well, I think that's one of the best selling points that the Free State Project has for it, is that it's not just a bunch of people just moving in and just sitting around
Right,
saying,
exactly.
I wish I had more liberty, I wish I had more freedom. You know, everybody who joins up, because they feel so passionately about it, because they've heard the message and they just can't get it out of their heads, they're going to be as active as they can. And that's what I've been finding across the board. Anybody you run into, when they find their little niche, where they want to go and try change, they just go for it, gun-ho. There's no pausing. There's no, well, I don't know about this, because when you're sitting there with idle hands, you're not doing anything constructive.
Right.
And everybody here has just been awesome.
It is.
Absolutely
And
phenomenal.
the good news is when you come to New Hampshire, there's also other groups that are on the ground ready to help you promote freedom.
All you
From
have
the
to do is
Liberty
plug in.
Alliance, I'm executive director by way of Pro-Gun New Hampshire. It's a pro-gun group here. There's other pro-gun groups. There's whatever you're interested in and whatever freedom issue, you can lock in and have an organization that you can participate in that many states don't have.
Yeah.
And it's great. So that advantage is there for the person who really cares about liberty.
It's great,
coming
whether
here.
it be the NHLA, the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, finding out which candidates you should vote for and which ones are a threat to the Constitution, which ones will help you gain more
Exactly.
liberty, whether it be writing letters to the editor or protesting or whatever it is. There's a group out here that you can plug into and help out. The groundwork has already been paved by people such as yourself to help other people out who want to move here and plug in.
And there's another aspect. When you do come here, as joining the Free State Project and actually moving here, the network of Free Staters is very receptive to every other Free Stater, so that when I moved here, I had over 60 people show up to help me move in.
It's awesome.
And there's like a brotherhood and a sisterhood. You're united as a family with the same belief, and it's great to have that kind of a network here for liberty.
Everybody,
It's wonderful.
Everybody that comes here has the same goal, and that's to increase personal liberty, personal freedom, not just for myself, but for everybody. Not just for, everybody needs it, because that's the only way to truly have those freedoms and those liberties, is if everybody has them. And that's what you're going to find. If you move here, people are going to just show up at your door if you tell them where you live, and they're going to be there on the steps waiting for you to help you move in.
Yep.
That's
Absolutely.
just the type of people that you're dealing with here. They're not crazy people. They're not, I want all these drugs and I want everybody to have guns. They just say,
they understand that you can only have as much freedom as you give your neighbor, and that doesn't mean like I don't like ice cream, so I'm going to make it illegal. But that means anything that doesn't harm someone else should be legal. Freedom should be legal.
Right. And trying to get back to that's what America was about. I mean, it's funny. I have a coin here. This is a commemorative dollar that the U.S. government put out for Benjamin Franklin. But what's really cool about it is on the back is the original Continental dollar that Benjamin Franklin helped design. And what's amazing is what our motto of America originally was on the first Continental dollar. And it was not "In God We Trust." There's nothing about God either for or against having that motto, but rather what this motto was "Mind Your Business." Now that's an American motto,
That's
right?
an awesome
Mind your business. Ben Franklin knew what he was doing.
Now that's
when he put
also
that.
some
And this is
metal-backed
the first
currency.
time in a couple hundred years that they put that motto back on an American coin. But that's a commemorative put out by the U.S. Mint for Ben Franklin with a reproduction on the back of the Continental dollar with the original motto of "Mind Your Business."
That's
and it's
amazing.
such a great play on words, too.
I've got to get one.
You got to get one of them,
This is like
it's
we talked about the Liberty Dollar earlier. That's metal-backed currency.
Metal-backed,
there.
right,
Someone
and-
else understands that that's a silver dollar. That's what a dollar is supposed to be. Right now, it's worth much more than $1 because, we've lost
and the
value
price of
the
silver
dollar.
keeps going, but
that's amazing.
Yeah, but a lot of the folks here think in terms of survival, not survivalist, but what you do if financial crisis, a crisis in our rights, a crisis in individual freedom, and many times precious metals can play an excellent role in. Look at what happened in hyperinflation times.
Yep.
The people that could survive. Matter of fact, one of the old stories is in the pre-war Germany. There are two brothers. One was an accountant, and the other an alcoholic. And the accountant was very careful with his money, saved it, meticulous. The alcoholic was drinking it all and threw the bottles in the basement. Well, when the hyperinflation hit, the accountant was wiped out, but the alcoholic had all the bottles that were worth something. So I don't know what moral there is to that, but it's something to think about.
Well,
right? So
I think what it says to
yeah.
me is, well, don't
Yeah.
necessarily trust something currency that has
exactly.
no backing.
That's what it is. Exactly.
Paper is just paper, and if it's not backed behind anything else,
Yeah.
it's
That's
really
true.
just worthless. So
Yeah, and I know that Ron Paul sure knows that. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got an expertise in that area, and we're of course.
Look at
strong
this, another
supporters
person
of
who knows who Ron Paul is. It's
I
awesome.
actually know. I know the answer to this question. Who is Ron
who
Paul?
is
Ron
I
Paul?
even know about John Galt too.
It's just so amazing
Right.
to be around people
Yeah.
who all
Uh-huh.
understand liberty, all understand
Yeah.
freedom, and what it's all about. We thank
great.
you so much
Thank
for
you.
being on
My
here.
pleasure.
And enjoy the rest of the
Oh yeah,
festivities.
absolutely.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
Guys. Keep doing a great job.
Thank you, Evan.
Bye now.
It really is great to be out here in the beautiful New Hampshire, filming live here as the sun sets, the fire's behind us. People are coming from all different places, whether it was talks about what they can do to get active, or oh, look, it's Russell Canning again.
There's a lot of drinking going on, so they're going to spill beer on you by accident.
Well, people are having fun out here as well. But,
I've got Sam's Choice. That's my drink of choice. So.
well, we've had him on the show before. He's an
we will have him on again as many times as it takes.
an an amazing activist. This man, he goes to jail for your freedoms, not only for his freedoms, but he goes to jail to just show the force of the government. He's not afraid to live his life as a free man.
At least partly.
At least partly.
Have you guys been taking lessons from like Leno or something like that? You're supposed to butter up the gas or something.
Well,
These people. This is a local show. They know it's lies.
for people who don't know who this is Russell Canning, the Keene Free Press.
See, all week long, see, normally people just... You know what's strange? Since I'm not a chick, I'm not used to people staring at my chest. So when you walk around and people look at your name tags here at PorcFest, I'm always like, what are they looking...
Oh, yeah, Russell. It hangs a little low. I'm not sure.
So Russell has been in New Hampshire for how long now? Have you since you made the move?
2.5.
2.5 years.
And
Yeah.
since then, you've started an amazing newspaper, the Keene Free Press, that's available both in print and online at KeeneFreePress.com.
Yeah.
That gives you an alternative to what the big media giants or that are
Or
printing
even
the regular-
small town
or either
papers.
exactly are
Yeah.
printing.
Yeah.
One great thing that I love about your paper is you can just go up to random people, start a conversation with them about Ron Paul or what's going on, especially in the city of Keene. We've had a lot of city councils kind of just been running rampant, just spending millions of dollars. We're a vocal minority and the vocal majority haven't wanted it spent. And they go and they pick up the Keene Free Press and they talk about it and they say, I don't agree with everything in there, but I really appreciate having this kind of third-party opinion, which is just an awesome part of what you bring here.
Interesting. Yeah, because I haven't run into anybody that's read like Ron Paul's stuff, but he lets us print his stuff, and I basically agree with his stuff, so
Yeah.
that works out pretty good. Some of the Ron Paul articles on our website have been the busiest.
Yeah.
Because people I think there's people all around the country that are typing in Ron Paul
Yeah.
news or whatever, and then.
Getting those links.
Normal newspapers don't do Ron Paul stories, so
No, sadly they do not.
As they ignore a lot of the liberty stories or the skew stuff from a pro-government angle, which
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen pro-government articles.
sure.
Well, there's letters. You accept letters
Oh, yeah.
to the editor, but you're not going to be printing government propaganda necessarily.
not
Or-
normally, or people would
Knowingly.
yeah, or whatever. Yeah, it's just it's more open. So yeah.
So Russell, have you been enjoying yourself up here? I know this isn't your first Porcupine Freedom Fest. Have you seen more people here than in the previous years?
We were trying to figure that out today. It doesn't seem like there's tons of people here today.
It's spread out a lot.
How much do you guys think it is?
Well, I don't know. Last year when I went, it seemed like we were in a campground up at Rogers Campground. Everything was closer together. Up here at Gunstock, it's spread out over a huge piece of land. So
yeah, it could handle a lot more of us. If there was 1,000 of us, there'd be enough room. So I like this place better. I helped choose it, so I'm not exactly like non-biased. Our place is sitting on the pond. Looking up at the mountain, so I can tell people I have, the place we go, we have a place on the lake in the summer that we like to go. And
that's great. Now, you tackle freedom from a different point of view from people who are working inside the system a lot of the time. A lot of people want to go in and be a part of the government, elect legislature or the House members who will roll back the laws. But you are someone who I've seen, at least, who wants to just live their life as a free person without worrying about what the government and what laws they're putting down on paper.
Yeah, since I eventually want to live without a government, I don't want to work inside of it, and then decide sometime to stop doing that. And like when you guys win political office in town, I'll have to hassle you guys.
Well, it's great. There's all sorts of ways that you can come here and be a part of it, and you don't need to plug into the NHLA and try to rate members. You can just be like Russell and live your life free, be an example to other people on what liberty's all about.
Yeah, we had a guy, since you're kind of talking to people that haven't moved here yet, for people that are like in places that are more statist than here, like California, where I came from. Yesterday we had a conversation where a guy said, are those all your bumper stickers? And we didn't know quite what he was talking about. And back in, he goes, yeah, I love that bumper sticker that says, our favorite bumper sticker on our car is from CNHT, and it says, it takes a school to bankrupt a village.
Yeah.
And he liked that. So he was going, the schools are like a black hole. They can never have enough money. And he's like, yeah, I agree.
But the problem is they get away with it because they always get to say it's for the children. It's for the benefit of the children. And that's how they get away with their constant increases in budgets, which luckily in Keene we've been able to stomp out. We helped beat the contract last time, being a vocal minority, having the TV show. Really,
but they spend like $13,000 a kid in Keene,
and they don't even get good results.
It's no good.
It's crazy.
Now, you guys went to what kind of school?
Well, I went to private school for the first 8 years, and then I went to government school for my high school career.
And you were in the same kind of area, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Keene.
Yeah. So, and then where did you live?
I bounced around the country a little bit, but I've been up here since 3rd grade. So
yeah, so you guys are so it's not impossible. Even government educated guys can turn.
You can get through the system and still see that it's coercive and wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah, I went to public school for elementary school and then went to private school after that. I think it's easier for private school.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
You can come sit. You can come sit over here.
The guest chair's right over here. There's people all around here.
We've just got a ton of festivities going on. We got the bonfire in the back. As you can see, everybody from the Free State Project feels so comfortable.
Yeah, I'm going to have control of this.
All right, what's your name?
I've seen this guy in the video before.
All right.
The anarchy is just a little too much here.
We can't handle it.
The bad side of anarchy. Okay, where's Tim?
Anyways, as you can see, everyone brings their kids, their friends.
It's a family event.
I mean, this is really just to get everybody here, get everybody coordinated, and just
I don't think you can
show everybody what it is to be free, to have some liberty, and to have a great time with your friends and your family, and just sit back and enjoy your life, enjoy yourself.
Wait, if you guys are filming at 3, it'd get even uglier. How long are you guys going to do this?
As long as we want to talk to as many people and give people an idea of what the Free State Project's all about, what Porcupine Freedom Festival is for.
Yeah, so I'm one of the guys.
You're one of the guys. Is there anything else you want to say to people before you move on and enjoy the rest of the festival?
No, that's it. I'm not very good at speaking.
Well, thank you so much, Russell, for coming on.
See you guys around.
Always great to have him on.
Hopefully we'll get heckled a little later on from the one, the only, the Russell Canning.
It's great. He's a super activist, always doing stuff for freedom. You'll see him sometimes in Keene. If you're watching this in Keene, New Hampshire, he'll be out there with anti-IRS signs saying, honk if you hate taxes.
He will.